Hello and welcome again to another 7 Minutes in Control with Rob Allen. I've got what I think is something that everyone is definitely going to enjoy and definitely see the value proposition in. So what we're looking at today is the Web 600E versus the Security 616 Jace. And is this going to be the ultimate value proposition? So let's jump right on in. I think most of you guys are familiar with what the Web 600E has to offer. Now, we always recommend that you buy the 600E-O because you're going to be fully open at that point. That choice is yours, but we recommend the 600E-O. Basically, the specs we know are 524 megahertz processor, 128 megabytes of memory. You can upgrade that to 256. You get the real-time clock, two COM card slots, two Ethernet ports, the RS-232 and the RS-485 port. All right, now the 616 is also going to have a 524 megahertz processor, but it's going to come with 256 megabytes of RAM. It's also going to come with the real-time clock, and it's going to come with the embedded workbench. You're still going to get the same COM card slots, Ethernet ports, 232 and 485. But you're also going to get two door readers that come on that Jace. So what do we do with door readers? Well, you set those up and you can monitor and provide access control to any doors in the building, in your customer's building. This is huge for your customer because you're adding value to them and doing some things for them in regards to an integrated building that they're not going to have with any other Niagara solution out there right now. Huge, huge, huge. All right, so let's look, because obviously with all this extra stuff, it's going to be a little bit more money, right? Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. Basically, if you add everything up, you're going to pay about $3,462 for that Web 600. And that Security Jace that we just talked about is actually $2,911. So that's a savings about $551. And you're going to get the embedded workbench, and you're going to get the upgraded memory, and you're going to get two door readers, and you're going to save your customer $551. How in the heck is that even possible? Well, we don't know either, but those brilliant minds over at Honeywell said we've got to get the security product out there. We've got to make something make sense to our contractors of how they can hop into security and they can be successful. And I think that they've definitely, and I think you would agree, have accomplished that today. How could you not? If you don't start doing this, then every single time that you go out and you install a Web 600, you're basically just going to charge your customers $551 extra, and they're not going to get the benefit of door readers and that type of stuff. Two things. Currently limited to Web's 3.643 and limited to 60 devices. Now you'll probably understand that the 60 devices is not something that you hit very often anyway, but you do have that limitation. On the Web 600 you don't. You just can go as long as you want until you fill up the memory of the machine and it starts running slower to the Jace, I should say. That 3.6.43 or 3.643 may or may not be a concern for you. I know you have a whole lot of buildings out there that you have not upgraded to 3.7 or 3.8. So this may or may not be a concern for you. That's something that you've got to figure out for yourself. So in summary, what do we have? Well, we know that we get the upgraded memory, the two-door readers, and the embedded workbench. Embedded workbench, I put an asterisk there just because it's slightly different in how you're going to configure it. But it's a 5-minute configuration at the very beginning, and then from that point on, you do have that embedded workbench, which is not a big deal. From there, it's a value add for your customer, as we already sort of touched on. You're adding something to their building these days. I'm sorry, guys, but the HVAC contractor, it's becoming a cookie cutter type thing. All the manufacturers have competing products that compete really well against each other. All of them are going to be able to go out and perform the job. At the end of the day, if you're not adding something extra, or you don't have a huge name behind your company, or a relationship already in place, if you're just comparing apples to apples, at the end of the day, it's always going to be the lower price is going to win. Obviously, we know that that's not how we want it to be, but that is reality. You got to have that value add. This is something that you can come in and say, listen, we're going to do everything that the other guys are going to do, except we're going to give you a little bit more. We're going to control some access control to your building. Give them some Wiegand cards or something like that at the beginning. They go badge in. You can start writing protocols that will, badge in at the front door, and you can change their set point to an occupied mode for their office. It starts working before they even get into the building. You can start pulling into Niagara who's in the building, who's not in the building. You start doing time and attendance. It's excellent stuff just with those little card readers and Niagara, pulling that kind of thing in, giving the opportunity to add a badge in, badge out system to the building. Huge. Scalable solution. So basically you're going to get your foot in the door for future projects. You can expand onto this. You can do an extra 7 door readers on this, or 7 door readers, but then that's going to give you 32 total because there's 2 per reader. So you get 1 with it, 7 extra, do the math, 32 readers. So you can actually expand up to 32 readers within this, and you have the full security suite within this Jace to be able to go and do whatever you want to do in that building security wise. You can eventually pull in your video, do cameras, you can start to do threat level management, all that type of stuff, but you're basically in the building, and it's kind of the the try before you buy scenario where we want to do your HVAC, but we also want to give you a little bit of access to some door readers and stuff, and you can go down the road and make it even a better thing for them, and your foot's already in the door. So if you're still not getting this, give me a shout. If you still want to continue to pay $550 extra every time that you buy a Jace, that's fine. Continue to do that. But I think a lot of people are going to jump on this, and I think a lot of people are going to start taking advantage. And I want everyone to go out and start jumping on this and offering this to your customers, because Stromquist is going to start talking about it. Stromquist is going to show how it makes sense and all that kind of good stuff. So we want you guys to as well. So how do you get started? Well, if you're a current web security contractor, these are in stock. It's ready to go. You can order them right now and go start installing them. If you are a webs only contractor, it's a simple sign up. It's not very expensive. You're going to buy a demo Jace and go to the training boot camp. If you have not been to the training boot camp, I tell you what, Richard Bogle does an excellent job of that. Roger Rebenak does the sales side of it. It's pretty intense, but it's actually, from what I can tell, one of the more enjoyable type boot camps and training sessions, especially when you throw Richard and Roger into the mix. If you are not a webs contractor of any sort, there's a few more restrictions that we have to put onto you. Go through an application process, that kind of good stuff. Give me a shout or shoot me an email, rob@stromquist.com. We're set up for Georgia and Florida. If you're outside of those 2 states, I'm really sorry. You can still email me, and I can get you in touch with a distributor that can set you up. But you need to be within Georgia and Florida to take advantage of being a Stromquist.com customer, Stromquist & Company customer. So this has been another 7 Minutes of Control with Rob Allen, and this is the awesome way to go out and tell your customers what's up and do some value add and make them happy. Take care, and until next time, see you later.